Welcome to Your Property Radio. I'm Joel Malkin here with the founders of whatisashortsale.org, Ray Noble and Anthony Krupe. Guys, how you doing?
Good morning, Joel. Thanks for having us back.
Hi, Joel. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. If you have not heard our show yet, you don't know about whatisashortsale.org, you can get a lot of things done there. Most importantly, you can find out a lot of information that is very helpful, especially if you owe more than your property is worth. But let's back up a little bit and ask Ray Noble here, what is a short sale?
A short sale is when you sell your property for less than what you owe on the outstanding balance of the mortgage. It's really a great alternative solution for both the banks and for the homeowner to avoid a possible foreclosure.
So this is something, if somebody is facing foreclosure, they can take advantage of a short sale. And I know that we've talked in the past about the fact that people are concerned about their credit, obviously. They go into foreclosure and they're doomed for a good 5 years or more. And with a short sale, how long is that typically?
Typically, it's 2 years, and then you could actually purchase again. And you don't actually need to actually be in a foreclosure, a current foreclosure status, to do a short sale. You could actually still be current at this point and be what we consider to be maybe foreseeably delinquent, that you might have a problem making your next upcoming payments.
Yeah, the banks tend to work with you if you're in this situation where you need to sell the property for whatever reason. You could have had a curtailment in income, and they know that you're burning through your savings, so they realize that. They know that basically within the next few months you're not going to have this other additional funds to then continue to make this payment, and so they are willing to work with you in that capacity. In some cases, you need to relocate due to your job. And they know when you have to relocate due to your job, if they don't work with you, they're only going to end up in some sort of foreclosure status. And that costs the bank money. So the banks are willing, when they do believe, and you can actually show them, look, I need to sell, this is why I need to sell, they do tend to work with you in those situations.
Anthony Krupe there, co-founder of whatisashortsale.org, and Ray Noble with me as well, Your Property Radio. Whatisashortsale.org. I want you to check out this website. We're going to get on with our conversation here, but I also want you to grab a pen and take this number down, because you can call and ask these guys questions anytime. 888-262-6933. Again, 888-262-6933. And you can go to whatisashortsale.org, get the free guide, which talks about the process through a short sale, A to Z, every step that you can take if you owe more than your property is worth. Now, speaking of that, if you are underwater in your home or owing more than your property is worth, it is important to educate yourself about your situation, because I know that there are some misconceptions out there.
There is, Joel. And to be honest with you, everybody's case is different. Like Anthony said, you might have relocation for job purposes. It could be, financial hardships. And in a lot of cases, homeowners really are not aware of what might be available to them or not. I spoke to a homeowner recently that really her first concern was, I wanted to do the right thing. I just want to make sure that I still stay in good standing with my bank. I am obligated to my mortgage, but I had to take on a second job just to pay my mortgage. And I have a mother that's 85 years old. I'm leaving her alone at night all by herself, and I just don't want to do that to my mother anymore. But the lady was genuinely concerned about doing the right thing. And based on what she told me, based on her financial situation, she really more than likely is a perfect candidate for a short sale. And the bank, will see the fact that, she's struggling. She does not make enough money to carry the mortgage. She has depleted her savings, and it is now becoming a burden on her personal life, all the way to the point where she's neglecting her own 85-year-old mother. So you really have to identify what, might be best for you.
And the banks in those situations, they're usually willing to work with you. If you have an absorbent amount of money in the bank, you're going to have a hard time in a short sale. It is what it is. But if you're getting by and the bank realizes you're getting by and you need to sell this property, they do work with you. And it's important people know that. They usually don't know that. They always believe, oh, well, I got to be late. I have to be this. I have to be that. I don't have a hardship. I've had people think they don't have a hardship, and within a 5-minute conversation, they realize that they do have a hardship. They don't realize what their hardships are, and through conversation, we're able to help them identify, because of our knowledge of going through many scenarios. We've done probably several thousand short sales. You see all different things, and you through that allows us to basically talk with you and allow you to understand what your hardship is by learning what other people's, basically learning different scenarios, really what it comes down to.
Speaking of misconceptions, wasn't you guys that told me that you've heard a situation where somebody was told either, I don't know who told them, whether it was a lawyer or somebody else, that they should skip a few payments in order to be able to get a short sale?
Yeah, that's common what people believe in the market, that they have to be late, and
They'll purposely miss some payments.
They'll purposely miss payments, even when people have called the banks for loan modifications. I mean, how many people? There's like over 1 million loan modifications, I think, that were done under the HAMP program, which is the government's modification program. When you call the bank and you're current, I've had so many people tell me, well, we can't help you unless you're late. So the only way we can help you is if you're delinquent on your mortgage.
If you've defaulted.
So now you're in a situation where, okay, well, I can't, I'm struggling, I'm doing the right thing, but I have to default in order to get any sort of assistance. And this is basically what, if you talk to anybody who's been in that situation, they'll probably, tell you what I'm saying is true, because that's usually what they tell us, is that the bank told them, look, we can't help you unless, you go late. So you almost got to, do the wrong thing just to get some sort of help, and it's unfortunate.
And it's the same thing even for loan modifications. In a lot of cases, they'll tell you, well, you have to be delinquent in order to get a loan modification. And most people try to do a loan modification, and unfortunately, if that doesn't work out, then the short sale might be the option. But which is, funny when you talk about loan modifications versus short sale. In one respect, and a homeowner just told me this recently, on a loan modification, I needed to show as much money as possible. The bank told me, if you can't prove to us that you could afford this mortgage, we're not going to give you a loan modification. But on the short sale side, the bank wants you to show them that you have no money. So the banks are very, very misleading, and they're very confusing, and it's very difficult for homeowners to understand what they really need to do.
But the banks, as you said, are more apt to do a short sale today than they were, say, 5 years, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago. Why is that on that? I mean, obviously, we could sit here and put them up on pedestals and say they care about you, and many of them, I'm sure, do. But what's in it for them to do a short sale versus a foreclosure?
Well, when this housing market first, the bubble first hit back in 07, 08, the banks were foreclosing on people very aggressively. And they were all sued. All the major lenders were sued. They were actually improperly foreclosing on a lot of people. So that helped. They were sued billions of dollars. Then the banks also realized that they will net more money in a short sale than they do in a foreclosure. It's expensive for them to actually foreclose on somebody, Joel. Plus the homeowners, they could take certain preventative measures by filing bankruptcy or things of that nature, and that just drags out the process. So the banks realized, okay, we're better off working with these homeowners. If there is an exit strategy for them, if they're really suffering and they can't pay, we're better off cooperating with them and finding a solution quicker.
Is there a negative to doing a short sale for the homeowner?
Versus a foreclosure? No. Your downside on a short sale, of course, as opposed to a traditional sale, is you do have to wait 2 years to get a mortgage again. It is shown on your credit report as paid, less than settled agreed, so you don't have any open collections or any outstanding judgments on your credit report and nothing of that nature. But versus a foreclosure where you can very much be subjected to a judgment against you, and you do have to wait up to 5 years to actually get approved for a mortgage again. And then with a foreclosure versus a short sale, which we have spoken about this in the past as well, it could be very difficult for you to obtain additional employment, or it could even hurt the job that you're at. I had a bank teller that we did a short sale for, that a foreclosure wasn't even an option for a bank teller. You can't work at a bank with a foreclosure.
Right, and I've always found that the very first time we spoke, you told me about that. And
military, too.
And, yeah, and it just, but especially, the military, I'll give you that one, but a bank teller.
Well, anyone with, it's really what it comes down to is anyone with any sort of security clearance. So because bank tellers, they have certain levels of security where they're actually handling money. They have access.
Figure you're broke, you might steal money from the bank.
Well, it just shows that they look at it as a short sale as a more responsible way of handling your situation. That's what it comes down to. If you're kind of one of these people who let your foreclosure go right to the last minute, and then you're there with the sheriff and they're coming and kick you out of your house, they feel like you've had plenty of time to try to find a solution or try to short sale the property. Some people, look, not that doesn't count for everybody, because some people have actually had this happen to them while they were very aggressively trying. So I don't, you know, so it does happen in an unfortunate way too. But in most cases, some people have just let this property go. They've walked away from the home, and they look at that and they say, well, you didn't try to find other solutions. So they look at it as a downside.
Right. And in the same respect, even if you're working with an attorney, like Anthony was saying, you have ample time. You need a plan. If you're working with an attorney, that's fantastic. We've had a lot of people that have came to us at some point where an attorney was helping them. They were in imminent danger, and the attorney, from an attorney's standpoint, was able to help them, get them sufficient time to do a short sale. But during that process, you need to have a plan, because at the end of the day, the attorney will only be able to help you so far. And when you get that phone call that there's just nothing more he can do for you, and now there's a sale date on your property and you don't have anything lined up, that's when you're going to run the risk of foreclosure. And the courts will see that you've been in this situation for some time and you've done nothing about it. And that they frown upon.
Right. And even in that situation, I've had people where we're working with them very aggressively to try to complete the short sale, right? And their attorney is actually, based on that they're able to get them the time that they need to complete the short sale. So now all of a sudden they're like, well, they get this oh, well, now I have this time on my hands. So then they start playing this other game. Well, okay, well, maybe I should try to do a loan modification again and save my home. So then they flip-flop, and then they go back and they realize, well, I don't have the time to finish the loan modification. Let me try to do the short sale again. And this is very common. I've actually seen people do this, a few times, where they go back and forth trying to save the home. Once you get the time allowed to you to do something like a short sale, if the judge is giving you time to do a short sale, stay focused on the short sale. Don't waste your time, because you may not get that second chance again with the judge that's going to give you that time. And now you've kind of put yourself in a situation where now they're not giving you the time, and you're scrambling 3 weeks before a foreclosure sale date to try to sell your property and get out of the house and everything else. And you could have had 4 months to do this, and now you're trying to do it in 3 weeks. So you end up putting yourself in a worse situation, which is really not beneficial to yourself.
I guess the bottom line to say, in layman's terms, would be if you're going to hire a lawyer, that's fine. Understand that you're going to spend a certain amount of money with a lawyer. They usually work by the hour, I would assume, in most situations, and have a plan. Don't just say, I'm going to hire, because in often cases, if you're not through experience, but if you're charged with a crime, you basically, what do? You hire a lawyer and you let them, hey, let me work it out. But in this situation, you want to know where you want to go and hire that lawyer then,
That's
not
right.
just hire one and say, hey, just do what you can to save the house.
Well, what they do is it's like foreclosure defense work. They, forbearance. They prolong the situation and they keep you in your home, and that's great. It's some people have sat in their homes for many years, but if you're just sitting there not trying to even talk to the attorney about what your plan should be, like, go to the attorney. You hired him. Try to come up with a plan, whether it's loan modification or a short sale or a deed in lieu, whatever the case may be. Be active about it. Don't sit and just wait till the last minute. And that's what a lot of people do, and they end up hurting themselves even more, putting themselves in a worse situation.
That's Anthony Krupe, Ray Noble here as well with whatisashortsale.org. A wealth of information at the website, whatisashortsale.org. I'm Joel Malkin with Your Property Radio. I want also to get you to take down this phone number, 888-262-6933, 888-262-6933. You can ask a question about your mortgage situation. Everybody's situation is different. And at whatisashortsale.org, you can download the free how-to guide about the process and the steps to take if you owe more than your property is worth. A lot of this stuff, in fact, all of this stuff is free, by the way, free for the taking. The information that you can get, the service that you get, not to say that there's anything weird going on here. In fact, we're going to find out exactly how you get this stuff at no cost to you And we're going to find that out right after this on Your Property Radio.
If you're buying a home, you need to know about title insurance. Most home buyers don't realize they have a choice when it comes to title insurance. Shopping for title insurance can save you money and it can reduce costs on refinancing too. At Assure America Title Company, services have been designed to meet the ever-changing needs of their clients. Assure America Title's goal is to provide their customers with a quality and efficient title insurance service. They will provide a knowledgeable closer and will take the time to explain all the documents being signed. They will also provide a personal closing coordinator to act as your one point of contact, ensuring that a status update is always a quick phone call away. If you're buying a home, take the time to shop for title insurance. Call Assure America Title for a free quote. Call 1-888-348-7799. Go to AssureAmericaTitleInsurance.com. Click on the title insurance quote button on the right-hand side. Complete some quick info and see how you can save at your closing. Call Assure America Title Company today at 1-888-348-7799 or go to AssureAmericaTitleInsurance.com for more information. Find out the difference that shopping for title insurance can make.
Welcome back to Your Property Radio. I'm Joel Malkin here with the founders of whatisashortsale.org, Ray Noble and Anthony Krupe. And we were talking about how to take care of a short sale. Of course, the how-to guide, you download it for free at whatisashortsale.org. But we're discussing how all of the assistance basically is at no cost to you, the homeowner. And folks might be scratching their heads going, well, wait a minute, what's the catch? And Ray's going to address that for us.
Very common question that we get. What's in it for you? The way it works in a short sale, Joel, any industry professional that assists you to do a short sale, whether that be a title company, a realtor involved, your bank will pay all the closing costs that pertain to the transaction. They will pay the real estate commission. They will pay the title insurance that needs to be paid. They will actually even pay the transfer taxes that you're responsible to pay as a seller. Even out-of-pocket expenses that need to be paid for up front, like lien searches, that is also paid by the title company up front and then reimbursed back by the lender. Even an estoppel that has to be ordered if you have a homeowners association, that as well is also an out-of-pocket expense that is bared by the title company and then paid back by the lender. So you do not pay any money in a short sale unless, for whatever reason, your bank, which we don't see often, asks you to make some type of a contribution to the bank directly to satisfy your mortgage. And we have seen that sometimes with investment properties as opposed to your primary residence.
Usually with people who have more assets. For the average normal person who's doing a short sale, they're not in that situation. You know, they may be somebody who's got, when we did a short sale with somebody that had $2 million in the bank.
$2 million in the bank.
Well, let me ask you there. Let's
Yes.
start right
Isn't that
there.
crazy?
Let's talk about that one.
Somebody's got $2 million in the bank. Why is the bank allowing and I'm not knocking this, obviously your client, whatever, but I'm not knocking the client. If you can get it, great. But why would they allow a short sale? If you've got $2 million in the bank, clearly you can just sell the home and move if that's your issue.
Because, well, I mean, it comes down to the situation where is if the bank has to make a decision whether they want to let this property. These are usually, if you got $2 million in the bank, you're going to have a sizable property. If you don't take care of these properties, they deteriorate very quickly. If you turn the air off in these properties, South Florida, they're getting mold. We all know that. If you've had a property in Florida, and you don't leave you come home, you got the air off for 3 days, it stinks.
And anybody that ever had to clear mold out of the house knows oftentimes you have to get rid of the drywall, right?
Yes.
It's not as simple as having a cleaner come in.
So the banks know that, look, if they're going to not pay this mortgage and they're just going to leave this property and I got to go fight with them maybe later on, at the end of the day, it's going to hurt the bank regardless. It's financially hurt the bank. So the banks are willing, look, if you're trying to sell your property, the banks realize this. You kind of have them, against the wall a little bit, and they do want to work with you because they don't want you to do that to the property. They actually encourage you, the banks encourage you to maintain the property throughout the short sale process. They want you to. They don't want they don't want the property to deteriorate and then the asset worth a lot less money, and that's why they're willing to work with you.
Right, and what's important, Joel, in a case like that where these people did have multiple millions in their bank and the bank was willing to do a short sale and they did make a contribution. It was only $10,000 and they couldn't be more happy. But think about it. The bank still got fair market value for the property, and that's what's important. So the property was sold for every dollar that it was worth at that point in time. Whereas if the bank would have pressed a foreclosure, they would have had to spend money in legal fees. Then at the point where the property was foreclosed on, it might have deteriorated, and they might have gotten even less at that time than they did when the property was sold by the homeowner just cooperating, making a little small cash contribution, and the bank got as much money as possible. So it really does make sense when you think about it.
And something we always talk about, on the show each and every week is we tell people to open their mail about the letters they get.
Right.
Banks are paying cash incentives to people to do this. They realize that if the person maintains the property, and then it's basically the carrot. Look, you maintain your property, you keep it in good condition, you maintain the HOA or whatever you have, and if you do a short sale and not let this property go into foreclosure, we'll give you $10,000 or we'll give you $15,000. We've had people walk away with $35,000. So this is very common that they do this because they know as soon as you let this property go, they got to start writing checks for attorneys, and they got to start. At some point, they're going to have to probably either let this thing go at foreclosure auction, which is going to yield them a lot less money, or they're going to have to go into this property, take it back through a foreclosure, fix the property, and then go ahead and sell it. So that's a lot of work, that's a lot of expense, and there's a lot of liability to it. The banks are willing to work with people more than they think.
Right. You say that the banks request that somebody that they're doing a short sale for keep up the home, keep up the property during the process. I'm just wondering how many people actually do that, and is there something in writing that says you won't get this incentive cash if you don't keep up the property?
In some cases, they do. It is in there. It is in the letter that they say you need to maintain your property. So it does. Yeah, they.
So ultimately,
and some people can't. Not everybody is in this financial situation that can actually maintain the property.
Right. If you had to leave town.
No,
we were talking about that. That's often a reason for a short sale.
Right. Some people just can't even afford general maintenance on the property, like the lawn and the pool. So that does happen.
Yeah. In fact, I had just this past week, I had a conversation with a couple. They're in a very similar situation. The property is probably worth several $100,000 less than they owe, and they're in a situation where they're having to help family members, so they don't have the same money that they actually did. And these are fairly well-off people, but their money is going towards helping some family members right now. So they're struggling to maintain this property where they used to not have to struggle to maintain the property, and they came to me looking to do a short sale. So we had, through conversation, we were able to identify some things and possibly help them find a solution. But this is very common, and you have people who, maybe they can make the mortgage, but it's not just about making the mortgage. There's other expenses to owning a home, as we all know.
And if you want to do a short sale, if you find that it's something that will benefit you to get done, you want to get on it now. You don't want to hold off. Ray's going to talk about why.
Well, we do. You have a lot of government programs that were instituted back in 2007 and 2008 that were due to expire in 2012. They were extended 1 year to the end of 2013. That would be the Mortgage Debt Relief Act and the Hafa program. The Mortgage Debt Relief Act, Joe, will protect you against any capital gains tax you might owe on the property once you sell it. When you sell your property, for argument's sake, if you sell it for $100,000, but you owe your bank, hypothetically Chase, $200,000, Chase is going to send you a 1099 for the difference. You are then responsible to report that on your tax returns as capital gains. With the Mortgage Debt Relief Act, you are protected as your primary resident. You will not be responsible for any taxes. After 2013, the end of 2013, if that is not extended, you will then have further obligations due to the government. Even if the bank gives you a full deficiency waiver, you'll still have tax consequences. So that's a very important factor, and we've been getting a lot of calls lately pertaining to that. A lot of people are very aware of that. But like Anthony said earlier, don't wait to the last minute. These programs have been around 5 years now. We're down to the last 5 months.
And if you were to start a short sale today, you got to really, even if you do it fast, you're talking about a 3 to 4 month process. So it really is. The time is now. The time is in the next month, 2 months tops. Because other than that, you're gonna. You got to list the property. You got to sell the property. You got to go through the process with the bank. It is something that work that needs to be done. And you got to start fairly quickly here in order to make sure you sell the property and close before the end of the year to qualify for that program. So it's really important
and also so that it doesn't affect your 2014 taxes. So
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you
right.
got to get it closed in the year of 2013. I mean, will they extend this program? They extended it the last year, but they only extended it 1 year. And we all watch what goes on in our government, so I don't depend on anything anymore.
Right. And even if they extend it even one more year again, it's not a program that's going to be obviously there's going to be an expiration to it at some point. So take advantage of it. It's a fantastic program. And the Hafa program as well, Joel. The Hafa program is another government-backed program where if you qualify for Hafa, the government gives you $3,000 relocation assistance money. You get it at closing. It helps you basically get back on your feet and relocate, and you are guaranteed no deficiencies, no promissory notes, no judgments. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay back the $3,000. It's another fantastic program due to expire.
And that $3,000 is in addition to any cash incentives you may get from the bank?
Yeah, you can get both, and we have seen people get $20,000, $30,000 plus from their bank and $3,000 Hafa.
Even the cash incentive programs that the banks offer, you got to be careful with those too, because those are usually time sensitive as well. There are expiration dates on those, so if you're getting letters in the mail from your bank, make sure you're opening them. Listen, and
what if you've thrown them out already? What if they've been grown? Because I can imagine somebody listening here going, "Wow, I just kind of went through that pile real quick, and I thought that these 4 letters from the bank were just more harassment. Pay your bill, pay your mortgage, and I just tossed them without opening them. What happens then?"
So, in that situation where we have a lot of people that have come to us and tell us, "Oh, well, I may have got letters in the mail." So what we do is, at that point, is we usually make a phone call together with the homeowner, the borrower, to their bank. Calling customer service isn't the answer. You're going to call, they're going to lose. They don't always know the answers to the questions. There are certain departments at the bank that you need to speak to in order to find out if that letter was sent to you, and we can actually help you do that. So if you want, it takes about 10-15 minutes with a phone call. You give us a call, and we'll help you actually find out if you still have a cash incentive.
And that's really what it's all about. The founders of whatisashortsale.org, Ray Noble and Anthony Krupe, you guys help property owners find solutions. There's no obligation. You can give them a call. I want you to grab a pen and take this number down. 888-262-6933. Again, 888-262-6933. Go to whatisashortsale.org. You can download your free how-to guide to find out about a short sale. Also, find out what your property is worth, and you can do that. Get a true property value report of your home conducted by real people, not machines, at whatisashortsale.org. Anything to add, guys, before we wrap up today?
That's it, Joe. But again, like you said, please call us. It's really the best way to get started, and hopefully we look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right.
Take care, Joel. Enjoy the rest of your day.
This is Your Property Radio.